5-leaf clover. Liz in Norfolk emails, I'm divorced and happily single, but I get so fed up with hotels that charge me the same price for bed and breakfast as they do a couple, and I feel tempted to demand a goodie bag to make up for the breakfast I haven't had. But Sam near Norwich says, hooray for this. I'm a 46-year-old single, child-free woman. I love it. Things are improving, but I'm sick to death of people asking if I'm married or if I have kids. No one asks if you're happy. Radio 2, smart speaker sounds app on 88 to 91 FM. Have a great afternoon.
BBC News at 2 o'clock. This is Catherine Cracknell. The government has won a legal bid to cut short a 48-hour strike by nurses in England, which is due to start on Sunday evening. A judge at the High Court ruled it would be unlawful for members of the Royal College of Nursing to walk out on the Tuesday because the union's mandate for action expires on Monday. The RCN said it accepted the judgment. Danny Mortimer, who's the head of NHS Employers, believes the ruling reflects badly on the union.
This is a remarkable position that one of the health service's largest trade unions has placed itself in. And it's a quite remarkable position that before the judgment today, or before their failure to turn up and take part in the court case, that they were planning to place their members in.
3 more days of rail strikes have been announced by members of the train drivers union ASLEF. They work on the routes served by 16 different rail companies and will walk out on the 12th and 31st of May and the 3rd of June. Those dates cover both Eurovision and the FA Cup final. Proposals to tighten rules affecting the gambling industry have been published by the government. The Culture Secretary, Lucy Fraser, announced plans for a levy to fund research, education and treatment on addiction and increased checks to ensure gamblers can afford their bets. Lord Foster, who chairs the House of Lords Peers for Gambling Reform Group, says he's been asking for similar changes for years.
Many families have had their lives devastated because of gambling problems, and we now know that, for instance, there are 60,000 children who are now deemed to be gambling addicts. So at long last, some of the key measures at least are being addressed. I would argue some not going far enough.
The Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, says he can't make any guarantees to British nationals trying to escape the violence in Sudan once a 3-day ceasefire expires tonight. International efforts continue to try to extend the current truce. Nick Garnett has sent this report from Larnaca in Cyprus, where British nationals are first being flown to on their way out of Khartoum.
The stories are heartrending. Families torn apart by the fighting in Sudan. Those with a British passport have been allowed to come. Those without, even close relatives, have had to stay. The ceasefire, which has allowed the flights to clear Sudanese airspace safely, runs out at midnight. Despite talks, nobody knows if fighting will recommence immediately. The Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, has warned that bringing British nationals home if the fighting escalates will be much, much harder, potentially impossible.
An artist who bent a full-size roller coaster into the skeletal form of a woolly mammoth is among 4 nominees who've been shortlisted for this year's Turner Prize. The work by Jess Darling will compete with other projects, including a film and musical exploration of the COVID pandemic for the coveted prize. And that's the BBC News at 2:03.
Thank you, Catherine. What a week. But we're nearly at Friday at Scott Mills. You ready?
Scott Mills. Radio 2.
Hi Scott, it's Jo from Anglesey. Day off tomorrow and looking forward to camping at the weekend with husband Nigel, Matty and Meg and Scrappy the dog.
Happy camping, Jo. Hope the weather stays okay. I have your forecast here. Dry on Saturday, moist on Sunday.
It's Thursday, it's 2 o'clock and it's time for Scott Mills on Radio 2.